Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome everybody to our July 17th, 2024 Board of Trustee meeting. Roll call, please.
Heichel?
Yes?
Shineberry?
Yes.
Siamaco?
Yes.
Great, thank you. We're going to change the format a little bit this evening, folks. So at this time, I'm going to refer the meeting to our administrator, Pat.
Thank you. I just have a couple things. First of all, got a big audience tonight, normal audience and some extra folks. One of the things we're hearing from other residents that have watched an actual video that worked a couple of times ago, and also in the meetings, is we do have crosstalk going on during the meeting, extra chat, whatever you want to call it. So if you have to talk, if you got some things you want to talk about, please go to the lobby, have that conversation, come back, so we're not interrupting hearing, because we don't use microphones, everything comes here. So I'd appreciate that. And then secondly, I would ask you to entertain a motion which I provided for you today.
Okay, sure. I have a resolution 2024-29, and I will read it. It says, whereas the Board of Trustees of Blendon Township, Franklin County, Ohio, wish to recognize John Giamarco for his 39 years of service, and whereas John Giamarco has shown extraordinary loyalty, dedication, and hard work for 39 years to Blendon Township, that now, therefore, be it resolved by the Board of Trustees of Blendon Township, Franklin County, Ohio, 2/3 of all the members elected thereto concurring, that effective Wednesday, July 31st, 2024, the building located at 6360 South Hempstead Road, Westerville, Ohio 43081, that's our service department, will henceforth be named the John Giamarco Service Department Building. And I will make the motion to accept this resolution 2024-29.
And I will second.
And there is a motion on the floor and seconded for resolution 2024-29. Any discussion? I do have some discussion.
Yes, me too. Go ahead.
Okay. So John has been with us for 39 years, and that is actually more than half of his life. Through.
He said not much.
Oh. Throughout his tenure, he has embraced every task assigned to him, managing each with remarkable skill, expertise, and patience when necessary. He has worked for 12 trustees, 6 fiscal officers. He has collaborated with 2 police chiefs, 5 senior center directors, and countless staff employees. I can honestly say that the past and current elected officials, directors, and employees respected and appreciated him. John is truly a pillar of this community. John, you will be missed more than you will ever know. I deeply appreciate your commitment, your compassion, and your love to Blendon Township. I am grateful for the person that you are, and I'm grateful to have had the opportunity to work with you. I wish you and your wife the very best in your new journey of retirement, and please keep in touch with us.
I have a comment from Delina. She's doesn't have much voice tonight, so I'm going to be reading her comments tonight for her. This is for John from Delina. I have watched you maintain and serve our township for decades and appreciate everything you have done for all of us. You will be missed. And my own comment is I would like to publicly thank you, John Giamarco, our Township Service Director, for your many, many years of dedicated service, keeping Blendon Township beautiful, plowing our winter roads, digging our cemetery graves and treating each burial with dignity, setting up Memorial Day services and outdoor concerts, procuring and establishing relationships with vendors, and all the unnamed things you have done with dedication, commitment, and a positive attitude. You are going to be greatly missed, but I wish you many years of good health to enjoy retirement to the fullest.
All right. Thank you, ladies. Pat, we're back to you.
Gotta take the vote.
Oh, I am sorry.
Heichel?
Yes.
Shineberry?
Yes.
Siamaco?
Yes.
Okay, we have voted, John.
Thank you, I appreciate that. So I would ask John to come up first. I would like to show the audience, and we'll have a photo with John. This is a plaque that will be put on the outside of the building, the service department. It says dedicated on July 31st, 2024 to John Gianmarco. Upon his retirement after 39 years of service to Blendon Township, in recognition of his extraordinary loyalty, dedication, and hard work as Blendon Township Service Director. So if we could take a picture with you, this group take a picture with you, and then I'd like to do something with Rita and the family, and then you guys can all leave. You don't have to stick around. You don't have to stick around for the rest of the stuff if you don't want to, so. Come around here, John, and hold this up. Come on, Matt, come over here.
Yeah, if anybody wants to get closer to take a picture, you can move up.
This is heavy. Oh. There, old man. Seriously. Can you get it here for him? Because
Should we be looking at him or looking straight at him?
Can you get us all, Amy?
Here, let me squish.
Okay. One. It's here. 1, 2, 3. Try it again. 1, 2, 3. I think I got it.
All right, thank you.
Rita. You gotta get in the picture. Go over here. Yeah, you're by yourselves. Bring your family and get a picture. Come on, guys. All of you. Yes.
Correct.
Colin.
There, Colin's right there, Nathan's right there.
Okay, get where you can't see the camera can't see you. Big smiles.
Is that it? One last thing, John. It's, we don't have a badge. You don't like my son? We don't have a badge to give Rita or anything, but I'm gonna give her your nameplate. It says service director on it. Sweet.
Oh, thank you. You'll have a spot in
Thank
your
you.
mouth somewhere.
Yes, if you wanna say a couple words, you're welcome. Thanks, everyone. Man, you guys are welcome to stay for the remainder of the meeting. There's no cake or anything, so you know, you're on your own. Look at Dross. He couldn't wait to leave. First one out here. Okay. We'll give it a couple minutes to clear out. While we're waiting, we'll go into public comment. I'll read public comment guidelines first. We welcome public comment and we wish to convey the message to everyone. We value your views and appreciate your feedback. This is your chance to share compliments, concerns, or any thoughts you wish to express. Public comment will be a period not to exceed 30 minutes per meeting. Residents or guests wishing to speak will be required to sign in on the sign-in sheet. Appreciate everybody for doing that. Each person will be given 3 minutes to express their compliment or concern. While this is not a Q&A session, any inquiries can be directed to me, Pat Myers, at pmyers@blendonCWP.org. Each person will be called to the podium in the order listed on the sign-in sheet. Yielding of time to another person is not permitted. Respectful communication between the audience and the board and the audience is expected. And if a person is not able to comment during the 30-minute time limit, you can contact me, Pat Myers, at my email, pmyers@blendontownship.org, or you can call me. So first person on the list is Pam Clay.
Pam Clay, police of 14 McCasser. Last evening, about 9:25 p.m., there were fireworks shot off close by. Just a few were shot off, thankfully, but they were very loud and seemed to be aerial by the sound. Given that the 4th of July holiday is over and it's not Labor Day, my conclusion is it was either someone who does not know the law or chooses to disregard the law. A good neighbor recently posted that she wanted to celebrate the 4th of July with her family who just arrived in the U.S. because they missed the actual holiday. Someone apparently called and one of our good police officers showed up at her home and very politely explained the laws to them. That says people don't know the law. In response to her post, when people responded with, "Go ahead and shoot them off," that says there are people who choose to disregard the law. With your recent vote to not ban fireworks for all of Blendon Township, the least you can and should do for the peace and prosperity of the community is to communicate the state of Ohio laws that are already on the books. Given that there are no properties in Huber Ridge, for example, that have a 150-foot radius, it should be fairly easy and very accurate to say, no aerial fireworks are permitted in the Huber Ridge area, or for that matter, the Sunbury Woods area. There could be signage that states that fact. It should be easy because it's not your law, it's the state of Ohio's law. Yes, you should be responsible citizens and get to know the laws that are on the books. But when it is obvious that they do not know the laws, then strong leaders will strive to educate the common people for the common good of the community. I'm asking that you commit to provide the necessary education for all of Blendon Township, not just the week before a designated holiday. Please educate on a regular basis, such as in the newsletter, social media, with signage. Use your email system. Use every method possible to educate and promote peace in Blendon Township. Thank you.
Thank you, Pam.
Next on the list is April Zobel.
Hey. So I'm not gonna worry about talking about fireworks again. I've done that enough. You know, ditto to what Pam said. Y'all know how to do the right thing. You're choosing not to do the right thing. That's on you. You can decide what you want to do at some point. And hopefully you go in the right direction to look out for the safety and the welfare of the community, all the animals that are in it. What I do want to ask tonight is that you take the opportunity for the trustee comments to explain to everybody here tonight and everybody here who is listening why on June 18th that you passed a resolution prohibiting marijuana dispensaries. There was no discussion about it. There was nothing posted anywhere. Pat brought up a resolution. The three of you did not talk about it. You just voted, let's not do it. I want to know why you are passing up the revenue that this township would be getting from that. It is estimated that the first year that Ohio has recreational marijuana, there will be $182 to $218 million in tax revenue. They set up the host community fund where 36% of that 10% excise tax goes to the host communities that allow those dispensaries. That means this township is passing up with just one dispensary about $180,000 to $250,000 annually. That's tax revenue that could come into the community. That's not even counting the JEDZ tax, and that's for just that first year. It's estimated that tax revenue by the 5th year in Ohio is going to go to about $336 to $403 million. So you're not allowing dispensaries, but down here at Glengarry, we've got a restaurant that serves alcohol. Up there at Sunbury, we've got a bar, we've got a restaurant that serves alcohol. By my count, we've got 2 more grocery stores and 5 convenience stores that serve alcohol, and that's just a quick little look around. I might be. There's a ton of states that have this. There's been no negatives anywhere. There's no increase in crime. All we're seeing is an increased tax revenue for a legal substance that does no harm to anybody, whereas, again, you've got alcohol everywhere. So again, please take time during that trustee comment to just tell us why you voted the way you did.
Emily Garrett.
So, I'm gonna go back to the fireworks thing, and so I apologize for that. However, I feel like it's very important to keep this conversation going and keep the communication lines open and transparent. So, last week I sent everybody asking a question that has yet to be answered. Now, I appreciate the feedback that I did receive about the law, which I have clearly read the law and understand the law. My question, and I'm not asking you to answer this today, that's why I sent it a couple of weeks ago, for clarification, because I feel like this is all a moot point about a ban or not ban, because my question, and again, I would like to clarify in my email, was what is the 150 clearance? Where is that allowed in Blendon Township? What homes have the 150-foot clearance from either a structure or from people? And in addition to that, we could even take that to a 50-foot clearance, because most of us do not have that. And why aren't we following suit with Westerville, which Chief Miller spoke at in 2022 at one of their meetings and talked about the safety of our residents and their guests are very important to us. Fireworks can be extremely dangerous if not used properly. And again, that was at the Westerville, city opts out of Westerville law, July, August 2022. You can access that. I included that in my email to you as well, and you can also hear Deputy Fire Chief Dave Williams speak about that too at the Westerville location. So I just, again, wanted to clarify the question that was in my email. It wasn't necessarily about the law itself. It was about the clearance, and if there is even that clearance, and maybe that should have been the campaign. There isn't a clearance for that in Blendon, unless I'm wrong, and that's totally fine. Like, we can talk about that too, and that can be included in a response to me. So I just really wanted to make sure there was clarification as to what my question in my email from a couple weeks ago was. It was not about the law, it was about the clearance, and if that even exists in our township. And I also sent the video, and hopefully you were able to play that. That video that I sent, the firework misfired, hit the house next to us, and went under a car. We were very lucky that nothing happened. It was a terrifying experience. I wasn't even that close to it, and I only filmed part of it. I've shared it on Facebook for the residents to see as well, and as I said, that was just me grabbing my camera quickly. So I hope that example is proof enough of what can happen. So thank you.
Thank you, Emily.
That's it for public comment. Prior to, there is one other thing that we could call kind of public comment. We have a presentation, young lady's here from Compost. She's going to give a little presentation to the trustees about the program they have. Something the Parks Advisory Committee had discussed, and I got it on the agenda so we could hear from her.
Hi everyone, my name is Darian Blackwell. I'm the marketing and event coordinator as well as the educator and route driver for the Compost Exchange. We're a food scrap recycling service for residents and businesses in Central Ohio. And today I want to talk to you guys about why compost is important for our environment and our community, how our services work, and what we want to offer Blendon Township. So does anybody here compost like already? That's great. So this is something that you can do at home, but this is a service for people who want to compost but don't want to have the pile. So for those of you who don't know, when you throw your food scraps into the landfill, they get buried, and then that food is still decomposing, and it brings along this bad bacteria that lets off methane emissions. And methane is one of the most potent greenhouse gases. It's 28 times more potent than CO2, but doesn't last in our atmosphere as long as CO2. So it's one of the most efficient and effective ways to help combat climate change. Not only that, but the farmers that we partner with in Plain City and Jefferson absolutely love our compost. So we give a portion of the food scraps that we collect to them. So they have like compost piles as big as the ceiling, and they use it on their property. And it's actually really interesting because they take their produce to some of the farmers markets around town, so you can see that food cycle really close, which I think is really cool. But again, this is something for people, you know, they want to compost but don't want to put in the work for the pile. So all of our members get a yellow bucket like this. It says everything that you can and cannot compost on it. We take every type of food, processed, fried in oil. We take meats, bones, and dairy, and those are typically things that you can't compost by yourself. And everybody gets a compostable liner, so you put all of your food scraps in there throughout the week. You put it out on your curb, and then someone like me or one of the other route drivers comes by, takes out your bag, gives you a new one, and that's all you guys have to do. All of our members also get compost back, so if you have a garden, you can continue to use compost because you deserve it. You're still composting, you're still helping our environment. And it's very simple. I went to about 300 houses today in Dublin. They do a fantastic job. But something that we want to offer Blendon Township is a pilot program. So for a solid month, 4 weeks, we offer everybody, every resident in Blendon Township the opportunity to use our services and for free. And then at the end of the 4 weeks, they get to decide if they want to continue to use our services. It's about $20 a month for our services weekly pickup. We also have a couple different services as well. We do drop-offs, so we're at the Westerville Farmers Market. You can bring your compost or your food scraps to us. That's about $7, and that's always fun because you get to walk around the farmers market. And that's a little bit about us. I do want to pass these around as well. But yes, we do community service, Central Ohio. But does you guys have any questions for me?
I don't have a question. I would say to the trustees that this is something that we could consider, obviously, and also something that we could put on our Blendon Facebook page with the information to go out and read about it. And then maybe at the next meeting, you guys could make something, or I could make a recommendation to you about moving forward and go from there.
Do you guys have any concerns about a pilot program? We find that that's like very effective for people to get used to recycling their food scraps. You know, instead we're asking people to put it in a different bin. Do you see any concerns with that?
Are you saying you would provide every single resident one of those in the whole township?
If whoever wants to participate in the pilot, yes.
So they have to designate interest in it.
Yes, yeah, they have to sign up and they give us their address, and then within the first week, that's when we would drop off their bucket and all the supplies, all the instructions on how to do it, and it's as easy as that. So it's only for people who want to do it.
And then at the end of the first month, do you automatically assume they're going to stay in and start billing them, or do they have to opt out, or do they have to sign up then?
They do. That's depending on what you guys would like to do. Some people, some townships or some communities like to opt out, and some people like to have that question, yes or no, at the end. So that's really up to you guys. We're very flexible with that.
Yeah, let's do this. Let me take my card. Got my email on it. Send me your contact information.
Okay.
And you and I work together, put together a communication that I can send to the trustee for consideration. And then at the next meeting, I'll see if they want to move forward with a pilot, and we can do something like that.
Absolutely.
Okay?
Okay. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Back to you, trustee Height.
Moving on to trustee comments, I do have some updates from over the past 2 weeks. I attended the Garden for Wildlife seminar by the National Wildlife Federation to become better informed on creating wildlife-friendly gardens and restoring natural habitats. I also gathered information on pollinator gardening tips, attracting butterflies, invasive and non-invasive plant species, creating monarch habitats, and much more. All of us, the trustees, are researching various avenues and options to better assist our community members who are passionate about improving their landscape principles in this way. We have learned that using appropriate native vegetation and local landscaping can help achieve water conservation goals, preserve habitat in urban areas, and again, much more. It's just the same as saving it, to me, same as saving a historic home preserves our local heritage. The use of native plants helps to maintain our natural heritage. So we will continue to research and develop minimum standards for the design, installation, and maintenance of landscape areas that use appropriate native vegetation, promoting the preservation and indigenous plant communities on site. I also wanted to update quickly that we had a wonderful opportunity to host one of our community concerts in the Sunbury Woods Common area last weekend. It was a great time meeting new people and reconnecting with old friends. We received multiple positive feedback remarks. It was a pleasure for us to be there, and we look forward to returning next year. Now, when Delina was campaigning last fall in Sunbury Woods, multiple people requested to her that we have a community event over there in their area. Special thanks to you, Delina, for sharing those requests with us and making their dream a reality. Comments?
Yeah, I'm going to read Delina's comments next. Again, she does not have enough voice to read them tonight, so I will read them for her. So this is Delina's. I wanted to address the fireworks discussion that April, Pam, and others discussed in previous meetings over the years. I want to assure April that she and others with the same concerns are being heard. I absolutely agree with many of the points that were brought before the board as a reason to ban fireworks in Blendon Township, but I also understand we have an entire township and not all will agree to a complete ban of fireworks. Part of what I pledged to do when I was elected was to listen to as many residents as possible to try to promote fair and balanced policy, not those based on my personal views. And not based on my personal views and opinions, nor those from people with the loudest voice. This may not be the popular approach it is, but I'm sorry, I didn't read that right. This may not be the popular approach, but it is, in my opinion, the right thing to do. I would love for this matter to be placed on the ballot to let all of our residents vote, but I understand this cannot be done. On Saturday at the concert in Sunbury Woods, I decided to take an unofficial and spontaneous survey of random people in the crowd. I was able to talk to a total of 51 people and asked their opinion on the matter. Either a complete fireworks ban in Blendon Township or leave it as it currently is. The results, 49 wanted to leave it as it is and 2 wanted a ban. I heard many of the same concerns that we all have: animals terrified, aging family members afraid, fireworks being shot off at all hours and not within the state of Ohio restricted dates and times, etc. Even though they expressed their concerns for these items, they all said they found ways around it and would not want fireworks banned altogether. Many also stated, a ban of fireworks will not stop those who do not adhere to laws anyway. I just do not feel a complete and total ban of fireworks in Blendon Township is the answer. I do feel we should continue to investigate this, talk to other communities, and possibly establish policies that will be considered fair to the entire township. Okay, our next comment. I want to thank all the residents who attended the Sunbury Woods event. It was a great turnout and we had wonderful feedback. And her last comment, this week I met with Kathy Passion, council member for Minerva Park. We discussed that many residents of our township are not aware that Minerva Park even has a pool. She will be getting back to me on special pricing for township residents and expressed how all are welcome. Over the coming weeks and months, we will be promoting it and providing additional details as they become available to us. And I have a few comments myself. So these are my comments. First, House Bill HB 315 has unanimously passed the House of Representatives. I mentioned this bill at a previous meeting, but at that point it was still in committee. This bill is important to us because it directly affects us. House Bill 315 is the General Assembly's Township Omnibus Bill that includes 15 important township provisions. Here are just a few. It allows townships to post notices on websites or social media instead of requiring a newspaper. It appropriates money for local governments to offset the cost of indigent burials or cremations. It appropriates grant money for townships who want to modernize their zoning regulations and processes. It creates a permanent BMV plate for township vehicles that says the township, not the county. And it clarifies the ORC so it matches a 2008 state law allowing township general fund money to be used for roads. I have written our state senator, William DeMora, Senate District 25, encouraging him to pass HB 315 and help it become law before the end of the year. Another announcement, I completed my fraud reporting and training on July 2nd and received my certificate from the Ohio Auditor of State, which Pat now has on record. The United States will be celebrating its semi-quincentennial in 2026. And Ohio has created and charged the America 250 Ohio Commission with leading Ohio's celebration of the 250th anniversary of the United States, which will highlight Ohio and Ohioans' unique contribution to the United States for the past 250 years. I have applied for Blendon Township to become an America 250 Ohio community. America 250 Ohio communities will receive special recognition and a designation as an official America 250 Ohio community, including signage, America 250 Ohio website recognition, event promotion, resources, and connections to other America 250 Ohio communities. I also attended the presentation called Gardening in a Time of Climate Change, sponsored by the Westerville Garden Club on Sunday. I've contacted two of the leaders of the group to see if one of them will walk Ridgewood Park with me for any suggestions about native plants which do better in hot, dry spells and other plant matters. And about 2 hours before this meeting started, I did receive a message back from the president that he was busy this week, but he would be glad to meet with me and walk Ridgewood Park next week. So I'll be doing that. And then lastly, I want to thank our service department, without whose help we could not have put on the July summer concert in the Sunbury Woods Common area. It was a great success. There were residents from all parts of the township. The Sunbury Woods subdivision residents were especially pleased that we chose to hold one of our summer concerts in their area of the township instead of having all 3 summer concerts at Ridgewood Park. There was lots of free, fun music and fun. And I hope to see everyone at the August 24th concert back in Ridgewood Park.
Thank you. Okay, moving on now to our fiscal report for Joanne, but I will just go ahead and head it off. Ladies, have you had the opportunity to review the minutes from July 2nd? Okay, I'll go ahead and make a motion to approve the minutes from July 2nd's trustee meeting.
Delina's seconded.
We have a motion on the floor and seconded to approve the trustee meeting minutes from July 2nd. Any discussion? Hearing none.
Heigl?
Yes?
Shidaberry?
Abstain since I was absent.
Schumacher?
Okay, thank you. And approval of the purchase orders. Did you have an opportunity to review those, ladies? I'll go ahead and move to approve the purchase orders as presented.
I'll second.
Motion on the floor and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none.
Heigl?
Yes?
Shidaberry?
Yes.
Schumacher?
Thank you. Okay, and we have the approval to pay the bills. Have you had the opportunity to review the bills?
Yes, and I will move to pay the bills.
And I'll second. So there is a motion on the floor and seconded to pay the bills as presented. Any discussion?
Heigl?
Yes?
Shinaberry?
Yes.
Piamaco?
Yes. All right, thank you. Back to administration.
Thank you. I have 2 or 3 things for you. The first one is, in order to go on the ballot for the police levy that we're going to be going to the ballot with, the next step is to do what's called a resolution to proceed. We did the resolution for necessity. That went down to the auditors. They do the calculation and certify the funds and the millage in order to generate those funds. So I have a resolution. I would ask you a motion to pass that resolution tonight. And I would ask you, as tedious as it may seem, I'd ask you to read the entire resolution, just because there's some detail in it that makes it's important.
All right, bear with me, but it has information you're going to want to hear. It is a resolution to proceed with the submission. It's Resolution 2024-28. Resolution to proceed with the submission of the question of levying an additional tax in excess of the 10 mil limitation for the purpose of police services pursuant to the Ohio Revised Code Section 5705.19J. Whereas the Board of Trustees of Blendon Township, Franklin County, Ohio, created the police district pursuant to the Ohio Revised Code Section 505.48, which consists of the unincorporated area of the township, which is the police district. And whereas the police district provides police services to the unincorporated portions of Blendon Township, Franklin County, Ohio, and whereas on July 2nd, 2024, the board passed a resolution declaring the necessity to levy a tax in excess of the 10 mil limitation pursuant to ORC 5705.19J for the purpose of providing and maintaining motor vehicles, communications, other equipment, buildings, and sites for such buildings used directly in the operation of a police department, for the payment of salaries of permanent or part-time police, communications, or administrative personnel to operate the same, including the payment of any employer contributions required for such personnel under Section 145.48 or 742.33 of the Revised Code, for the payment of the cost incurred by townships as a result of contracts made with other political subdivisions in order to maintain police protection, for the provision of ambulance or emergency medical services operated by a police department, or for the payment of other related costs pursuant to Section 5705.19J of the Ohio Revised Code. The sections of the Ohio Revised Code authorizing submission of the question of the tax are Sections 5705.03, 5705.19J, 5705.191, and 5705.25. And whereas on July 9th, 2024, the Franklin County Auditor certified that the current tax valuation of the police district, which is the unincorporated area of the township, is $309,553,280. The amount of mills for each $1 of taxable value that is required to generate $1,400,000 of revenue is 4.53 mills. The proposed levies rate rounded to the nearest dollar for each $100,000 of county auditor's appraised value is $159. Now therefore be it resolved by the Board of Trustees of Blendon Township, Franklin County, Ohio, 2/3 of all of the members elected thereto concurring that the board desires to proceed with the submission of the question of an additional tax levy for the purpose of providing and maintaining motor vehicles, communications, other equipment, buildings, and sites for such buildings used directly in the operation of a police department, for the payment of salaries of permanent or part-time police, communications, or administrative personnel to operate the same, including the payment of any employer contributions required for such personnel under section 145.48 or 742.33 of the revised code for the payment of the cost incurred by townships as a result of contracts made with other political subdivisions in order to obtain police protection for the provision of ambulance or emergency medical services operated by the police department, or for the payment of other related costs pursuant to the Ohio Revised Code section 5705.19J. The additional levy shall be at the rate of 4.53 mils for each dollar of valuation, which amounts to $159 for each $100,000 of valuation to the electors residing in the police district, which is the unincorporated areas of Blendon Township. The additional levy will be for a continuing period of time. The sections of the Ohio Revised Code authorizing submission of the question of the tax are sections 5705.03, 5705.19J, 5705.191, and 5705.25. The additional levy shall be placed upon the current year's tax list commencing 2024 for collection in 2024 if approved by the majority of the electors voting thereon. The territory where the tax will be levied is the unincorporated area of the township. The township is located entirely within Franklin County. The question of such additional levy shall be placed on the ballot of the general election to be held November 5th, 2024, and submitted to the entire territory of our police district, which again is the unincorporated areas of the township. And the fiscal officer is hereby directed to certify not less than 90 days prior to the election to the Board of Elections, Franklin County, Ohio, a copy of the resolution declaring it necessary to levy a tax in excess of the 10 mil limitation, and a copy of this resolution, together with the certification of the auditor, and to notify the Board of Elections to cause notice of election on the question of levying the tax to be given as required by law. It is found and determined that all formal actions of this Board of Trustees concerning and relating to the adoption of this resolution were adopted in an open meeting of this Board of Trustees, and that all deliberations of this Board of Trustees and of any of its committees that resulted in those formal actions were in the meetings open to the public in compliance with all legal requirements, including section 121.22 of the Ohio Revised Code. This resolution shall take effect to be in force from and after the earliest time provided by the law. So I'm going to make a motion to approve this resolution 2024-28 regarding the police levy proposal that I just explained.
And I will second.
Okay, there is a motion on the floor and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none.
Heichel?
Yes?
Schoenberry?
Yes.
Siamako?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. The motion was carried and the resolution was adopted on this date, July 17th, 2024.
The only thing I would say about that to the public is if there's questions that come out of this, which there will, you're welcome to send those to me and I can get the answers from, whether it's police answers or auditor answers or fiscal officer answers. I can take all those questions in and we'll get those questions answered for people going forward. Thank you. The next thing I have, three more things, I'm sorry. The next thing I have is I would ask a motion to approve, to allow me to sign an agreement with Cloud Permit to implement a zoning and code enforcement software. This will allow residents to put requests in online, building requests, plan requests, concerns about different things within the code. They can do all these things online. Adam can manage those things online. He'll be able to produce BZA documents, zoning commission documents out of this to get out to these boards before meetings and so forth, to really streamline that process. We work with other communities, Westerville and a couple other, looked at some different softwares that they've used, which are way more than what we need. So we went with Cloud Permit based on the cost and the functionality it gives us. For our size of township would be perfect. So I would ask that out of ARP funds, $21,800 be spent for Cloud Permit software. And that would include all implementation and 3 years of software.
I will move to authorize you to sign the agreement with Cloud Permit as was just presented.
I will second. So there is a motion on the floor and seconded to authorize the Township Administrator, Pat Myers, to sign an agreement with Cloud Permit for the implementation of zoning and code enforcement software in the amount of $21,800 paid from the ARPA funds as presented. Any discussion?
There are no additional costs until the end of that 3 years, at which time I would renegotiate and we would go to more of a monthly payment. We're doing with ARP funds, they have to be spent by the end of 26, so we want to do it now and prepay rather than pay over years.
I think it sounds like a great thing for people to be able to do this online. I'm sure people will appreciate the streamlining of it.
Heigl?
Yes?
Schoenberry?
Yes.
Siamaco?
Thank you. Next, we have a freezer over here on the other side of this wall for the senior center. It's not big enough, first of all. Second, it's got some issues, and I know Matt's aware of this, of the seal that we're fighting with. So I'd like to purchase a larger and new freezer for the senior center, again, out of ARP funds, and it's not to exceed $1,500. So I'd ask for approval of that expenditure. And we'll go to either office supply, restaurant supply, Wasserstrom, we'll go commercial, we'll go those type of companies. Fixing it, just so you know, Matt can do a lot of things. He was the first to admit he's not an appliance guy. And service call and all the things that would go along with it, it just doesn't make sense to do that. What we thought about doing, we can talk about this at a later time. Matt and I talked about moving it to the concession at Ridgewood and using it for storage down there while we can still, while it's functional, but we'll get a little bigger one for over here.
I'll move to approve that expenditure as presented.
I will second. So there is a motion on the floor and seconded to approve the expenditure from ARP funds, for up to $1,500 for the purchase of a new freezer for the senior center. Any discussion?
I would just like to say that when you're shopping for the appliance, check with some repairmen and see see if there's any particular brands or models that they recommend or that they say to stay away from. So, because they know.
Okay.
I know from personal experience, they're great ones to ask about that.
Okay, perfect.
All right. Any other discussion? Hearing none?
Heigl?
Yes?
Schoenberry?
Yes.
Siamaco?
Yes.
Thank you. And last, I would ask that you accept a donation of $145 from the concert in the park at Sunbury Woods. That was from the 50/50 drawing. So we had a gentleman that won the 50/50 drawing and just so happened to have a t-shirt on that said, "Today's my lucky day." It was interesting that that person won. So anyways, $145. If you could accept that donation, I'd appreciate it.
I'll move to accept that donation as presented.
And I will second. Motion on the floor and seconded to accept the donation from the 50/50 raffle at the concert in the park, July 13th, the amount of $145. Any discussion? Hearing none?
Heigl?
Yes?
Schoenberry?
Yes.
Siamaco?
Okay. Back to you,
That's
Pat.
all I have. Talk to Mr. Newman.
Okay. Mr. Newman.
I have a couple bits here from Jeff Beard Concrete Construction. One is 6 various locations for curb and gutter to be replaced, sum of $8,182. Second job is the concrete for Ridgewood Park for the exercise equipment. That's with assembly and a handicap accessible sidewalk to the shelter house. for $6,460.
Okay.
I'll move to accept those proposals. Jeff Cox.
And I will second. So there's a motion on the floor and seconded to accept the proposal from Jeff Berry Concrete for $8,182 for curb inlet replacement from the Roads District Fund and $6,460 for work at Ridgewood Park. All coming from the ARPA funds. Any discussion? Hearing none?
Heigl?
Yes?
Shittaberry?
Yes.
Siamaco?
Okay, thank you.
And now I have one last thing here. I have our Cargill salt contract for 2024-25 with a price of $61.35 for road salt. They've guaranteed us 500 ton. It's a saving of $16.78 a ton from last year. So, get that.
Sounds good. I'll move to accept that bid.
I will second. So there's a motion on the floor and seconded for the 2024-25 salt bid. Any discussion? Hearing none?
Heigl?
Yes?
Shittaberry?
Yes.
Siamaco?
Yes. All right, thank you, Matt. Now moving to Chief Belford.
National Night Out started in 1970 in the suburbs of Philadelphia. By 1981, it had spread across the country to every state. National Night Out is celebrated on the first Tuesday in August in every state except Texas, where it's celebrated on the first Tuesday in October. For obvious reasons, it's too hot to go outside in Texas in August. It started as turning your porch lights on as a statement against crime, and within 10 years, the National Night Out have matured into more than just crime. They encourage people to get out on the front porch, get out on the sidewalks in front of their house, and meet their neighbors. By being engaged in the pattern of life of neighbors and them being engaged and knowledgeable about our pattern of life, neighbors would be more easily to recognize situations which would require first responders, such as a medical emergency, a crime in progress, a lost child, or the recovery of a pet they've got. Now, all manner of things that first responders are involved in. So it is going to occur nationwide, National Night Out, Tuesday, August 6th. In Blendon Township, we typically keep the focus on the neighborhood. Some communities have a party which draws people out of their neighborhoods, but that's just the people who get out and go to parties. And then the people who may be homebound or may not have transportation are there in their neighborhoods by themselves. So the idea is to get out in your neighborhood and meet your neighbors. You know, during the course of the year, people may have moved into a new house or moved out, so that you recognize these patterns of life. You get to know them, they get to know you. As such, people typically contact the police department and let us know if they're having a gathering or putting out a table and some chairs, maybe some cold drinks and snacks. This year, we have only received one notification so far. So we're going to put something out on social media. We encourage anyone who'd like to have a gathering for National Night Out. The fire department and the police department always make a point to stop by, so we share those addresses. We get with the fire department and stop by and get to know each other. That's kind of the whole purpose of it. And the old leave your light on the porch as a signal that you stand against crime. It's kind of like, well, everybody's against crime and that just wastes electricity. And so let's just get out and meet each other. Changed from like 1970 and 1981. So if anybody has any interest in hosting an event, let us know. We'll put you on our list and we'll stop by. So far only one though. Normally by about this time we've got 3 or 4.
Are there suggested hours for hosting?
Yes, there are. I think it's, well, yeah, you go to all these, it's 6 to 8? I believe it is 6 to 8.
Okay. Thank you.
All right,
That's all I have.
thank you, Chief. All right, now your turn, Chief.
Yep, we have done 4 water rescues out on Hoover Reservoir in the last couple of weeks. Mostly kayakers, so we rescued 4 people and a chihuahua. One thing I want to make sure everybody's aware is be weather aware. So if you're going to go out on the water, get on the weather apps and see if any storms are going to be approaching and get out of the water prior to that. So 2 of the incidents involved some rapidly moving storms through the area. And Hoover gets pretty rough when those storms come through. So, and the other thing I can't stress enough is you need to have life jackets on if you're going to be out in kayaks or any boating on Hoover Reservoir. Ironically, the Chihuahua had a life jacket on, and a couple of the people we pulled out of the water did not. So, like I said, we have to put 2 boats minimum in the water anytime we respond to that. Fortunately, the last incident, we got a report that the person had made it out safely, and my firefighter spotted what they thought were geese out in the middle of the reservoir and quickly realized it was 2 more people that had become disengaged from their kayaks. So again, I've seen it. Some days it's as flat as glass out there, and other days you can actually see waves on the reservoir. So again, I like to kayak myself, my family does, but you need to really pay attention to what the weather's going to be, because especially now in the summer, and we've had multiple tornadoes that have come through Ohio this year. Storms are brewing up pretty quick, and there's a pretty good front that comes through with them. So that's all I got for tonight. So thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we have just one announcement, and that is the next meeting is July 31st. Same location, same time, which is 6:30 p.m. and of course live streamed as well. And being no further business before the board, I'll move to adjourn this meeting at 7:26 p.m.
Second.
And there is a motion on the floor and seconded to adjourn the meeting. Yes?
Shinneberry?
Yes.
Seymour?